Please be advised the Bob and Bob Show and ComplaintBoxes.com is not a news source. Vulgar language and opinionated content may be present at times. You must be 18 years or older to view, listen, or join our network. We are not responsible for any content expressed by users on any of our platforms.
It's the Bob and Bob Show.
You talk about politics all the time. People are interested in Instagram and Facebook, and no one cares about politics, Bob. Because politics are boring and nobody wants to hear about it.
Hey, what's up? We are on the Bob and Bob Show, and with us, as always, we have the bearded one.
Present.
We also got the Chopperoonie.
Hello.
And yeah, we are in November. No, are we?
What?
February. Dude, my days have been bleeding into each other.
That's months. That's not days.
Yeah.
Winter is 2/3 over.
Right. It's almost Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah.
If you want to
it's
call it a
almost-
winter.
So anyway, thanks, Chops, for your commentary there. But we also, you can hear us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, iHeart. You can go to the website, bobandbobshow.com. You can always check us out there. And what else there, Bob? Did I forget somebody?
I don't know. I was going through it. I think you got them all. Podbean, I think you missed.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people use that app.
I like
cool.
Podbean.
So,
Yep, that's my girlfriend.
well, I don't know. A lot of people have been paying attention to a lot of stuff online and a lot of stuff on the news, like the whole Pelosi ripping up Donald Trump's speech.
I've been isolating myself from everything, and it feels nice.
Did you see Trump out celebrating because he got off?
No, I didn't. I didn't pay attention.
Oh, yeah. He was straight dog talking. Everybody was funny. That FBI agent or whatever that he fired, he's like, I'm so glad that I fired that guy. It was funny.
Dude, but one of the major things here is this is a political theater. You know what I mean? They are just
Very much
putting
so.
on a giant show,
Wasting money.
wasting our money, wasting our time, and people
Yeah.
are buying into this crap all the time.
They're drawing a huge salary for all this mess.
Yeah, well, it's just like,
Right.
I mean, if you look at the whole sports realm and then you look at the political realm,
Yeah.
it's all just these big shows.
Dog and pony, bread and circus.
And then you look at the people, and that's all they got to talk about. They
Yeah.
really don't talk about anything of any kind of intellect or
well, the thing that's
progress
crazy,
for the future of mankind.
there are things of substance that are very important that have to get done through legislation, through our national legislation.
Liberate
And
sex workers.
that stuff is still taking place, but we're being, the tail wags the dog. We're being distracted by all just the dog and pony show, that is Trump and Pelosi and all the other suit monkeys sitting around them.
Well, there's a huge issue with people, older boomers. Okay, boomer. Boomers will sit around now and they're just watching that 24-hour news network now. And they just watch it all day long.
drooling.
CNN business.
Drooling like junkies.
Yeah, and and they're the ones that are out there, and you can't have a conversation with them unless it's about politics.
Yeah.
And they're going to talk about the left being like, so extreme now, and they're going to talk about the right being the right way. Like, everybody's buying into it.
Right.
So, I mean, pick a side. I don't pick any of those sides.
Nah. It's all a lie.
I pick my nose.
Oh, my God, dude, for real. That doesn't help anything here. We're trying to have a discussion here.
Discuss that.
I think I pick mine from time to time, too.
Right.
Well, we got the Trump mocks. I got to.
Hold on, LB.
What? Who's that, me?
Yes.
You better watch yourself, boy. I got control of everything here.
You're a bunch of dumbasses.
Oh, thanks for that
What's
one,
your
too.
first headline? Let's kick it off.
All right, so Americans say they feel the current economy is the best since the late 90s.
Okay.
This
know
is out
what?
of the Washington Post. This was a headline out of them. I don't know. Do I have to read the article, or can we just talk about it?
Well, read a little bit, but yeah, go ahead.
So Americans increasingly rate this as the best economy since the late 1990s, with a recent surge in optimism, even though many economic metrics show striking similarities in the final years of the Obama administration.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now was this somebody wrote this from the left probably, you know, they're like, well, it was already starting to do good at the end of the Obama era, you know.
Well, what I see in that headline is the difference between perception and quantifiable statistics, numbers, what's actually going on and where the information is coming from versus who you're asking, whose opinion you're asking. I guess if people feel good about what's going on, they perceive it as going better than it may actually be going, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're saying they're like selling it that way so that you just feel that way?
Sure.
Yeah.
Or people just feel that way, so they feel that way because they feel that way, you know, so, but it may not necessarily be true. I don't know, man.
Well,
what do the
I want to
real
know
numbers
who,
say?
again, we've talked about this before. Did they survey you on this?
No.
Did you, Chops, get surveyed? What would you say if somebody was like, hey, how do you feel about the economy?
I'd say it's pretty terrible. Everything's really expensive.
Everything's really expensive.
Well, that
And you don't
continues
make
to go
very-
on, too.
You don't make very much money to be able to afford anything. I mean, I really don't
Wages
see-
are crap compared to cost of living.
right.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's been an ongoing trend for decades. That's a reality. Here's another thing, though. When you're gauging the economy, are they gauging it on stock performance, like the stock market, all that stuff, or are they gauging it on what kind of money the consumer is spending?
I have no idea. They're just gauging it on whatever they want to gauge it on.
Right.
And I mean, these statistics and these polls and all this crap that they run. I mean, who did you ask to do it, and how many people were there?
Who's
You know,
selling?
right? So it's just a bullcrap article. I
Well,
hate
you
when
know,
they use
there's the
statistics.
economy doing good because of the stock market and 401ks and stuff, but then there's which does reflect consumer spending, but then there's the economy doing good as in, you know, the middle class is confident and you know, isn't swimming in debt and feels comfortable in affording their home and car and all the other crap that we're supposed to get, you know?
Yeah. Well, dude,
Uh,
I mean, obviously our currency is inflated. And
Always.
The only way that our money has any value is because of the public and their confidence in it now.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with gold. We've talked about
Well,
this. I don't know how
tax-
many freaking times.
Tax money feeding debt is where our money comes from, and it's crazy. And when that bubble bursts, it's going to be an utter catastrophe. So,
Well, this just goes back. This just goes back to that perception.
yeah.
You know, the union, the nation, what their feelings are. You know,
Right.
So if you feel that $1 is worth, you know, X amount of, you know, pennies, then that's what it is.
Right.
And
But panic can actually cause that too, and that happened when the stock market crashed in 29. Part of what contributed to that, all that chaos that ensued, besides natural things like the Dust Bowl that made it even way worse, but we actually have some articles coming into something similar to that later in the show. But anyway, that stock market crash, it caused a panic where people went in droves to withdraw their money from their bank accounts, and they essentially cleaned out the banks. And,
Well, you know,
and
that
the
was-
banks went under because everybody withdrew their money.
yeah, that
So
was under.
panic caused more chaos and crisis.
Yeah, well, that was, you know, they had a thing called call loans.
Yeah,
And J.P. Morgan and all them knew about steel and what the markets were doing, and they loaned out all these call loans, and then they knew it was going to tank, and they called them all in at once. That's what
Right.
caused it to tank.
and then the stock market crashed, and then every Tom, Dick, and Harry with a bank account that saw that morning's headline, you know, from the kids selling newspapers, that there was a massive financial crisis taking place. They all start screaming in the streets and going to the banks and lining up around the corner to withdraw their money, and then they bankrupted the banks by doing that. You know what I mean?
Again, and still, this is all artificially made by man.
Oh, of course.
You know,
Yeah,
this
it's
value
not-
of paper, this value of gold, this value
Yeah.
of anything is just a made-up construct of man.
Yeah, value systems for
Control
sure.
freaks at the top that actually, you know, they've been piggybacking on this since the inception of it.
Oh, of course.
So, you know,
Well,
these
dude.
global elites or whatever you want to call the big fat pigs at the top.
You can go to like ancient kings, dude. Ancient kings like King Harold and like William the Conqueror, Battle of Hastings, stuff like England in 1066 coming out of the Dark Ages. Well, okay, so this is what he does. He's a Norman king, which is basically Vikings that live in northern France. He decides to come over to England because he wants it. He wants to take it. Goes over there with his army, has this crazy famous battle, kills King Harold, takes like half of England for himself, institutes a tax on everybody that lives in England, all the noblemen who have to tax and enslave people to raise money to pay the king. And okay, so the king has to collect a tax to make a living because that's how he supports his kingdom. So if you look at it, it's one big parasitic model. The king is basically just a gangster, man, with an army. And
Just like the global central banks.
and yeah, and his barons are pretty much forced to do the same thing because that's kind of what they are at a lower level. And it goes all the way down to a population of plebs that are pretty much enslaved, with almost no middle class. Things have ebbed and flowed through history. Models have changed a little bit, but if you really look, if you take all the labels away and just look at the framework and the tree of that structure, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. The general quality of life of most of the plebeian class has improved greatly since then for various reasons, but really nothing has changed. And all those people at the top that run governments and stuff are mostly just gangsters.
Well, on quality of life, you said it's increased, but at the same time, we've been bombarded with chemically induced diseases and stuff.
Sure. Well, that was happening then too.
Yeah,
but
I know they had the plagues and stuff, black
Oh
plague. and
yeah,
all
just
that.
nature was wiping people out back then. Yeah, it's just
But now, we're all on a pharmaceutical regimen right now.
you got to control and cull, man. You
So-
have to.
Well, we'll move on a little bit here. I
Yeah.
really don't want to talk about this one too much because
Yeah.
I'm so tired of Trump and Pelosi and yada, yada,
I'm
yada.
avoiding it on purpose.
But, Trump comes right out and says they're all weak. He mocks the mumbling Nancy Pelosi at a New Hampshire rally. He says Dems are losing their minds ahead of the key primary. So, again,
So what is his job again exactly?
to showboat things.
Oh,
and
because he's doing a great job.
yeah, he's just a showboat and stuff.
Is he
dude.
actually presiding over anything, or is he just a clown?
I think he's just a clown.
Yeah. So just like Pelosi, right?
Yeah,
Hello.
she's a career politician, so
It's amazing how wrapped up in this people get. Well, they just get. I don't know, man.
stupid. So what? Did you have any articles, or are we just going off of some of the stuff I got?
I looked through what you got, man, and I mean, I could ramble about the first headline for the rest of the show.
All right, well, I'm going to save this other stuff I got here for the second half.
There's a lot of good stuff in there today.
Yeah, all right, here, I got one for, I got Chopperoonie. Are you awake over there?
Hello.
All right, so exclusive.
Hello.
There's been a strange Russian spacecraft shadowing U.S. spy satellite. This is what one of our generals say.
I have been saying it for months now that every country has its own UFO. They have their own saucer because UFOs have crashed in pretty much every country. So the big countries definitely have them. Russia, Iraq, Iran, they all have, the United States all have their own UFOs. So not every UFO you see in the sky is extraterrestrial.
So you're saying that this was just a UFO? Well, they're just saying it's a strange Russian spycraft,
Right.
or
Well,
spacecraft.
Yes.
It's just modified to
Did
be
it
like
say
a saucer.
spy?
I'm
Spy
sure,
craft?
yeah.
I
Yes.
said that accidentally. No,
Right.
spacecraft.
I'm
It is
sure.
spacecraft?
Yeah, it says spacecraft.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like
Russian
it's got to be a UFO.
A pair of Russian satellites are tailing a multi-billion-dollar U.S. spy satellite, hundreds of miles above the Earth's surface. A top U.S. military commander tells the Time magazine. I think this is out Time magazine, obviously, but
Well, there you go. It's the
I don't
truth.
know.
Well, we do have spacecrafts. We've all
Yes.
seen them.
Yeah.
You know?
I haven't
Yeah.
seen a spacecraft.
I've seen
Well, we have the
pictures-
shuttles, and that's
Oh.
a spacecraft.
I've seen pictures of a German flying saucer back when Hitler built it. He built 3
You're
of them.
not talking about Hannibal and stuff like that.
Yes.
And Die Glocke. Yeah.
Yep.
Anti-gravity machines.
Yes.
Yep.
They look like flying saucers.
Yeah.
And they already were flying them back then. So I can't imagine what they are now.
Well, there. You know what? Antarctica is a big mystery, and you're not allowed to just roll down to Antarctica and explore.
Right.
Like all these billionaires and stuff that can afford to do things like that.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to just like go down there. It's cut off. Like they'll shoot you out of the sky. You're not allowed to go to Antarctica. And militaries are, and international militaries like NATO and stuff are guarding Antarctica.
Okay.
Oh, well, then
What
that's
could
what
be going on down
the
there? man?
UFOs. That's what I mean.
That's where the aliens.
Underground.
They're just
man.
hanging out there.
Yes.
There are
Yes.
a
There's
lot-
got to be massive bases
Listen,
underground.
they have found underground caverns in Antarctica that are 60, 65 degrees.
So maybe they have a whole population just hanging out up there.
There
Yeah,
could be
that's what
millions
I'm
of
saying.
people. It's a continent, dude.
Yep.
It's like the size of Asia. You know what I mean?
There
Like,
could be a whole alien planet up there, and we wouldn't even know about
You
it.
could hide 20 million people underground in Antarctica, and nobody on Earth would know about it.
The reason I picked this article out was I was wondering if Chops had any influence on this spacecraft following our stuff,
No.
our satellites.
I'm not Russian.
No, I'm just saying
You look Russian.
maybe it was one of your alien female things going on or whatever.
I'm not talking to them right now.
I am not from Russia.
You're not talking to him. What happened? What happened?
They're just on my nerves constantly. On my nerves.
I mean, give me an example.
Example. First off, I'm 12 hectons old last week. And they
Oh,
didn't
you
even
just had
throw
a
me a
birthday?
birthday party. Yep.
Oh no birthday party.
No birthday booty either.
Their attention is elsewhere, man.
It is. That's what I'm saying.
So who's controlling things up there, man?
My number one.
Who's your number one?
It's a guy.
That's his name.
Her name.
It's a guy.
Oh, it's a girl.
It's a guy.
Oh no.
Bearded
no.
Bob, stop trying to get in on this fantasy. All right.
Well, since we're talking about aliens, let's talk about
Ew.
somebody saw a message from God in the sky. Did you hear about this one?
Which one?
There was a mysterious shape that was designed or described as a sign from the heavens. So what it was,
It's a rainbow.
the clouds formed a cross,
Oh.
and then next to it was the number 7.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
So
I
they're
haven't even
saying
heard about
They're
that.
saying this is, and it appeared in the Holy Land, what's the Holy Land?
Israel, I think.
Oh, this is some
Jerusalem?
conspiracy stuff, dude.
Yeah. +7, dude.
Yeah, the Holy Land of Israel. The image by an uploader known only as the Rabbi, and he sent it to the YouTube conspiracy theorist, Mr. MBB333. All
Oh.
right, so what is this? But I saw the image, like, it wasn't really so defined where you're like, oh my God. You're like,
Right, yeah.
You
If,
just
It's
be
a
like-
cloud
if
shape.
there's a
like
message,
everything
listen,
else.
if there's a message that comes from God, it's going to be unmistakable.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, you could have said
You're
this
not
was
going to
like,
be like, well, that kind of looks
Ben
like
Franklin's
yeah.
in my toast.
right.
yeah, there's like an elephant floating in the sky or whatever.
Right.
I mean,
I seen a video one time of this cloud that had like a laser light going through it. It looked like a light beam coming from the cloud, like somebody
There
was
are
up
some
on the
pretty-
cloud with a
yeah.
flashlight, was looking around. It was crazy.
I've seen that.
have you, what kind of drugs are you on, dude?
There are some pretty crazy videos
It's
out there, man.
definitely a video like that.
So you saw it or it was
I
just on
seen the
I
video?
mean,
video.
it's 2020. Does anybody even try to deny that aliens are a thing anymore?
No.
I mean, where are we at with that? Are the boomers on board with this?
I don't know. Just see if CNN will do a poll. That'll be the truth.
I mean, it's not. It's not
Come
like
on.
it's not like we've laid eyes on like
Wow.
legit
Whoa.
video footage, high quality verified video footage of extraterrestrial interaction with human beings, but I don't know, man. Just the math works out, and the idea that there could be a race intelligent enough to either be a part of the very existence of humanity in the first place or interacting with us on some level is not far-fetched at all.
Right.
The universe is big, man.
Right. Especially when they can't figure out how all these places were built, like the Mayan cities and the
There's so much
pyramids and
weird mystery
all
in
these
our old
huge
history.
20 million ton blocks that are lifted up on top of each other that you can't even do these
They
days without
probably
a
use
crane.
some pivots. What if all this stuff can be explained?
There's weird mystery
tried.
in
They've
our
tried.
history. I'm a rapper, yeah.
Project Blue Book. Maybe it can just all be explained.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm watching
It was
that
just
show
a weather
too.
balloon.
Oh.
You like
Like
that
a
show?
Bluebeam?
Yeah, I do like that show.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got the new season out too. It's a pretty good show.
I'm only 2 shows deep in it because I got the rest DVR'd,
Yeah.
so I got to watch them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The first season?
Yes.
Oh, wow. You're way behind.
What are you talking about?
Project Blue Book?
Project Blue Book.
There's
Oh.
2 seasons?
Yeah, the second season just came out.
When?
I don't know, a few weeks ago. I don't know.
Are we
That's
doing-
all. That's what I've been watching. I didn't know that was the second season.
Are we doing TV show reviews now on the
Yeah.
Bob and Bob show?
TV show. It was a good show. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
man.
Jen, what was that show Jeff was talking about last time?
Oh, I have no idea.
Who knows? Jeff talked about so much.
I
Yeah.
know, dude. He's a good dude. We love him.
Yeah.
We're just not affiliated with him in any kind of sense. We just, have.
And if we
conver-
were seen on the street with him,
yeah, you
we ain't
will
kicking it.
catch us.
Hey,
with him anyway.
I want to say something funny on the air. He's got this little dog, this old dog that he's got, and she goes outside to use the bathroom. When she's ready to come in, she has a bell that she rings. It's
Well, all
pretty
right.
funny.
So, since Bob had that brain fart over there, I don't know what
I
happened.
did.
Yeah, you should.
You guys are talking about a TV show.
No, before that, you were talking and you're like,
Well, yeah. Then I corrected myself.
Hello.
like a record.
What's
slowing down.
next?
Well, here's some psychedelic stuff. Move over, pot, psychedelic companies
Get out of here, marijuana.
are about to go public.
You suck.
And you know what? Bloomberg, I don't get this. This is out of Bloomberg. And isn't he running for
That guy's a
president too?
monster.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's a definite monster. Like
Anybody that has $50 billion can't be trusted. Straight up, dude.
straight up.
I mean, Warren Buffett, I guess, but he already gave away $37 billion, and he freaking lives like a normal person.
Yeah.
So
Well, the first companies developing medical treatments from psychedelic drugs like LSD, ketamine, and other active ingredients like that are in magic mushrooms.
Ketamine.
I never even
I
had
didn't know-
mushrooms before.
I didn't know
Psilocybins.
ketamine was a psychedelic.
Oh, okay, well,
I don't want nothing to do with it.
ketamine.
I thought that was a horse tranquilizer.
Anyway,
Yeah.
this is in Canada, and they're gearing up to list it on the Canadian stock exchanges.
Canadians.
So they're going to be trading freaking
Mushrooms?
mushrooms,
So
LSD.
That's awesome.
Canada's the land of the free now, I hear.
Right, you can go ahead and get that in your local grocery.
And you know what? You are allowed to have guns in Canada, by the way. You see a lot of this stuff about you can have guns in Canada. Yes, you can.
Yeah,
have
so
guns
this
in Canada.
company is called Mind Medicine Incorporated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice play
Oh.
on words. Which is undertaking clinical trials of psychedelic-based drugs, and it tends to list on Toronto's NEO exchange by the first week of March.
Oh man, so it's already about to be going.
I'm
tough.
liking this trend, though, man.
Right.
I know legalized pot, legalized.
The war on
LSD.
drugs. The war on drugs is probably the the war on drugs is one of the most damaging things that humanity has ever engaged in. Honestly, man,
Well,
It's
listen, if you look at
the destruction.
how
and
they
death.
are strategically releasing the allowance of being able to grow things,
Sure.
take things, it's all very strategic so that they can corner
Corporations.
the market.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And they want to make sure that we can't handle it unless we got a bunch of money to
You
dump
know
into
what?
it.
I'll take
Nobody got time for that.
I'll take
Right, ain't nobody got time.
decriminalization with the corporatization that goes with it. If I also have liberty to go with it, because I can just sidestep the corporate offerings if I really want to. It is.
I don't
what it
know,
is.
man. How many people are actually going to start getting all trippy and stuff when they if they do legalize it?
Well, probably not. It's not. It's
Jeez.
not like everybody's going to be walking around tripping balls or anything. It's not.
Are we going to have like a bath salt epidemic? Like they're going to start
No.
eating each other?
I would
That's something
rather
different,
I would
man.
rather than not drive on
Dude,
mushrooms. You know what I mean?
Dude, 70 micrograms of LSD and bath salts are not even in the same universe. It's not the same thing. Not even
You've
close.
driven on LSD, haven't you, Chops?
Yes.
I think I was with you
Chops is moon.
in a
Yeah.
snowstorm
In a
behind a
snowstorm.
salt truck.
Yeah. Yeah. With the flashing lights.
I wish everybody else could see what I see in the
I'll tell you
studio
what,
right
that's
now.
an experience in life that'll just be memorable until I'm.
We had a gallon of beer too in the car.
Driving while you're tripping.
Yeah, but it was
Oh,
during
yeah.
a snowstorm.
Yeah, I know. I've been there.
Behind a salt truck.
Yeah,
From
it's like warp speed on
Brimfield.
Star Trek, man. I know.
But
Now the
could you
stars-
imagine?
Suffield. We were in Suffield. That's where we were. We were way out off of 224.
Yeah,
It was crazy,
dude,
Yeah.
it's hard to stay on the road, man, because of the snow. Is like stars flying past you at warp speed.
And nobody was. It was in the middle of the night, so there was nobody else on
Yeah.
the road. So it was the whole road was covered in snow, and the snowflakes were the biggest quarters coming
Yeah.
out.
I've been there. It's amazing.
Chops is like, I'm fine. I'm like, all right, let's keep kicking it. Turn the radio up. Oh wow, the
Yeah.
good old days. The good old days.
Yeah.
It's been decades.
Well, since we're talking about psychedelic, psychotropic stuff here, we'll get into the THC thing for a minute. We're going to have to get into more of that on the other side of our break. But this one has to do with an NYPD transit cop was arrested for allegedly stealing a gym bag filled with marijuana. So-
Where from? The
Was he arrested?
From the
No,
police
this was an
department?
armed robbery. Now listen.
Wow.
A transit cop in New York clocked out only later to allegedly got a bulletproof vest and ski mask and staged an armed robbery at a Bronx man's house with an accomplice. The two held their victim at gunpoint and ultimately made off with his watch and a duffel bag full of cannabis. So what is this? The transit cop watched him get off the train, followed him home. I mean, come on now. What is
Who
going
knows?
on here? So, I mean, so we got NYPD. First off, we had
That's
the
a home invasion right there, dude.
Yeah, it was an armed robbery.
Yeah,
So,
that's-
see, in the
that's
Bronx,
big
you're not
trouble.
even allowed to own a handgun to defend yourself at your home. I don't think. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to.
What?
You do that in Akron, you might just get shot 5 or 6 times, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Kick someone's door in, you might just get lit up, dude. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, in New York City, though, don't they have a gun ban there?
That's
or
what I'm
something?
Right.
talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
The bulletproof vest probably said police on it. So when he came in, you know what I mean?
Right.
He was like, it's the police. So,
But he got a ski mask on.
oh, he had a ski mask on.
Yeah.
Well, SWAT does that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
know,
just crazy, like a cop busting through your door all
Dude.
ski masked out, stealing your weed.
right. I'd be like, that.
Dude, they've been doing that for decades by the dozen. It's
I
called
know.
a SWAT team.
Yeah, but this guy did it illegally without his SWAT team.
Right,
and
I
just
got you.
jacked the weed and rolled
Isn't
out.
it funny how you can do the same thing and one's considered a crime and the other's considered a social justice?
Right.
Yeah.
How backwards the justice system is. Legality and morality are not mutually exclusive.
The justice
at all.
system just destroys everybody.
It's
in its
based on
path.
opinion, too. Opinion and sideways agenda. We could go on for that for years.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that phone call? Excuse me, but one of your cops just robbed me for my duffel bag full of pot.
That's
You
that's
know?
why it's so easy in
Please
the
send a
underworld.
cruiser over here so I can make
That's
a
the
report.
thing about black markets and prohibition is that things can't be settled. Things can't be settled through legal means, so you have to settle it yourself through the streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's how like those robberies don't get reported because you can't report it.
Well, I
You
think
know?
I think in this case the neighbors saw suspicious activity and reported it. So I wonder if the other guy got arrested for having marijuana.
Well, you don't have it no more.
Well, he allegedly had it to begin with. Yeah, you're
Right,
right.
right.
How could he get arrested?
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
He
like a
doesn't-
moonshiner going legal after he's been making moonshine for 20 years, and now he's going to get a liquor license, liquor producer's license, and go legal. But they have to know you're already an expert and you've been doing this for decades. They retroactively bust him. They usually don't.
That's a real thing, too. You
I
watch
know.
that show, Moonshiners.
That's
don't
what I'm
you?
talking about.
Yeah.
Or like pot growers in California that went from, Murder Mountain in Humboldt County growing illegal grows for years. And now they're dipping their toe in the legal markets. And obviously they've been running these farms forever and now they're doing it legally. Well, the feds and the state both know they've been doing it forever, but they don't retroactively bust them.
Right.
But because it doesn't matter anymore, I guess.
Oh well, if that tax revenue isn't turning around real good and somebody's being real flamboyant with what they're doing, they're gonna raid them.
Yeah.
I don't know why they go after a lot of the marijuana and cannabis people. Like, leave them alone.
Yeah, they still do, though. The DEA does
Yeah.
because it's federally illegal still.
Any way they can cause problems, they do.
Any way they can make money, they do. Piracy is a thing. Prostitution should be legal.
Yeah, he wants to legalize everything. So
Not everything. No victim, no crime. Liberate sex workers. You know what? Sex slavery, that should be illegal, but prostitution isn't necessarily that, man.
Say
It's all about voluntarism.
dude, I mean, how many
Voluntarism.
walkers on the street would we get if it was actually legal, man?
It's
It might-
legal in Vegas.
Perfect timing.
Well, it's not legal across the country.
No, but it's legal in Vegas, and you don't really, there's places you can go here and there, brothels and stuff, but it's not like,
Yep, that's my girlfriend.
That's what somebody's going to be saying.
they probably have a lot more prostitution in Vegas because people go there for the prostitution. If it was legal everywhere, there probably wouldn't even be as much in Vegas as there is. But Vegas is a party city, man. It's freaking casino capital of the United States,
Well, we're getting to the halfway point here. And
Halfway.
a bunch of stuff coming up at the other side. We'll be talking about.
Did we even talk about THC?
Well, we got we're going to get into that too. More
Yeah.
THC stuff, more cannabis news, and then we got a bunch of insect stuff, some locusts and some extinctions of
Deep
other
fried.
insects.
Wow.
So that'll be on the other side.
Deep fried.
Always make sure to go
Wow.
to bobandbobshow.com and listen to the show. You can go straight there, push play, and you're off to the races on the Podbean app.
Y'all are so full of shit.
You can also thanks, appreciate that. You can also download the Podbean app, and then it'll upload to your phone whenever you want it, right,
That's
Bob?
what I do. I like it.
And then you just got it when it's there. Whenever you got a second, push play, and off you go to the races.
There's so much racing involved in this situation.
Yeah, so
It
we'll
don't
have the
make no sense.
insect problem. We got the THC. So that's the end of that. No aliens, though. No alien talk.
I like this halfway point that's coming up here.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Hello.
It'll be all right. BobandBobShow.com. Check us out on the other side.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I want to have a little rant about identity politics. This is how it breaks down for me. I don't care if you're male or female. I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Middle Eastern, indigenous, or a combination of all those. And something else I haven't even mentioned or don't know exists. I don't care if you're gay, lesbian, bi, gender fluid. I don't care if you have a dick, wear a dress, and call yourself Caitlin. Just because you decide that you now want to identify as the opposite sex or not identify as anything at all. I don't give a shit. And no, it's not because I'm a bigot. It's not because I think you're less of a person. It's because most of the time, none of it matters. What's important to me is what you believe and why. I'm interested in your ideas, whether you're an informed, engaged individual that applies reason and logic to reach evidence-based conclusions. Invoking emotions and feelings as though they constitute arguments is for infants. Be objective and open, and that way you'll be better prepared to address real issues. You know, like the refugee crisis. How about the stifling of free speech by social media giants? What's your opinion on Brexit? Are you for the hump or shillery? What do you think is more important, equality of opportunity or equality of outcome?
All right, all right, all right. We are back with your star, Chops, and Bearded Bob, and El Bizzle.
Yes, we're back.
All right.
Chops is bringing us in. He's taking care of business.
Yeah, taking care of business. I want to first tell you that I identify as a cookies and cream blizzard.
That's why you taste so good,
Oh,
Choppy.
yes, I'm sweet and thick.
You're awful.
Oh, it's over with. It's over with. All right, so what do you guys want to talk about?
That's what we get for having
I know I
Chops bring it back.
I was supposed to bring us back in, but
I
Good
said
job.
go ahead. You can go ahead.
go ahead. All right, well, let's talk about.
I'm gonna get into the THC news and all the other stuff, but let's,
all right,
let's
well,
see what you got.
Let's talk about THC and the effects on your brain.
I just said I have some THC news that we're gonna use later on.
Oh, I forgot.
You gotta pick a new topic.
Well, that was a self-explanatory topic there.
Oh, geez. All right, let me save you.
All right,
Half
yeah.
a million insect species faced
Oh, I
or
forgot
face
there was paper I could read.
extinction.
Yeah,
So
we kill everything, man.
the disappearance of bugs that fly, crawl, burrow, jump, and walk on water is part of a gathering mass extinction event.
It could have
What?
something to do with mass poisoning of agricultural lands.
Probably has something to do with water.
AFP Paris.
Yeah, with glyphosate in it.
Half of the 1 million animal and plant species on Earth facing extinction are insects, and their disappearance could be catastrophic for humankind. Scientists have said also global warming could be a cause of this as well.
Yep.
Sure.
Water
So-
pollution, global warming,
So
Air
let's think
pollution.
about some things here. So
fertilizer.
everybody hates insects, pretty much. Not everybody, but
Insects are absolutely imperative to
Yeah.
the ecosystem, though, man. They hold up
Super
the food
necessary.
chain, and
but they're pesky, man. They get in your
Sure.
house and they're a
yeah,
nuisance.
but they're necessary.
and
They eat crops.
and they spread disease, and they're gross, and
Yeah, I really don't
and they-
know what the use of a cockroach is.
and
You're
they
right.
pollinate crops, and they
are
feed
bees.
small mammals that larger mammals eat, that we eat, and they eat other pests, and they
and then
I know. Now he's getting into
I know.
professor mode.
You're
Boring.
talking about what,
Boring.
what the hell would we need an insect for? For a crispy treat, man. They're good deep fried.
crickets are. Have you ever had deep fried grasshopper, chocolate covered?
That's probably contributing to the extinction. Chops eating chocolate-covered grasshoppers.
Yes, I do. Meow.
So, I mean, what kind of effects could this have, Bob? Like, for real? Let's just
Crop
say
failure.
we know one thing. We've heard about the bees a lot, and with their pollination and what they do.
Yeah.
So that is an important insect.
Well, birds eat.
What about wasps?
Birds eat bugs, so it's going to definitely affect the birds population.
Exactly.
What if the bird population is going up, and that's why the bugs are decreasing?
That could be.
It's not
too.
likely. Birds are probably dying too if insects are dying because they feed on insects. Birds actually control the insect population to some degree. And check this out. In the 1950s, I think, with the Great Leap Forward, Chairman Mao in China there proclaimed that sparrows were the enemy of the state and that every citizen should do their stately duty by killing every bird they see, every opportunity they have to kill one. So they killed almost every freaking bird in the nation, and in doing so they literally did. In doing so, they caused a boom in the insects that the birds would normally eat, and created such an imbalance in the ecosystem that there was a crop failure because the insects ruined all the crops, and it caused a famine that killed millions of people. Communism.
Yeah, so
Government solutions are the best.
Well, I think we need birds. We know that
do.
But the bird wasn't an insect. So, all right, how many other insects
Well, I'm just saying what happens when people mess with the freaking populations of things in the ecosystem.
Well, you think, global warming, in this article they're talking about it's one of the main contributing factors.
It could be.
So, but we've talked about global warming and all this, and it's happened for billions of years on this planet.
Well, I don't think at this point the debate is about whether or not global warming happens. We can prove that with science, and it's easy science. But where the debate is, at this point, it's not whether or not climate does change over time, just like the weather does. It's a larger pattern with the same pattern under it. You know what I'm saying?
Did you hear Trump say that global warming is mostly false?
He says all kinds of things. But
what? He said most of it's made up.
Great. Here's another propaganda tool right there.
Yeah, he's not even articulate about his lies, or ignorance. But the whole thing about it is that the debate now is about what's causing global warming, and it's probably a combination of things, like most things, and people aren't really.
How dare you?
Nobody ever wants to look at it realistically.
Gretchen,
like that.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Politics are boring.
Nobody cares about politics, Bob.
I know it's crazy, man. But politics, when you say the word, it doesn't just mean, we're talking about the Democrats or Republicans or anybody like presidents or our political system, because politicking, you could talk about a bunch of different things.
When you say politics, I think what most people think of is the dog and pony show part of it. We're talking about where policy changes humanity through mandates.
Mandates are great. You always vote for mandates.
Bureaucratic politics.
It'll always do good in the end, probably, right?
Yeah, sure.
Said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
So,
does good temporarily sometimes, and the rest of it's pretty much tyranny.
Well, they're over here saying 500,000 insect species are becoming extinct, which that sounds like a huge publicity scare.
500,000
I didn't
species?
even know there's 500,000 different kinds.
Wait a minute. Think about all right. Just think about the time in this for a second. They're saying 500,000 insect species are due to be extinct.
They face extinction.
How long does it take to figure out the 500,000 insects and their population counts and the decrease in their population counts and why? How long would it take to do that for how many was it?
500,000.
500,000 different species of insects.
I didn't even know there was that many different.
How many
species
scientists are on this job, and who is paying them?
Yeah.
If this is what we're doing with our tax money, I must say, not that it's not a noble thing, but get funded somewhere else. I want my money back.
I need that money back.
It
sounds like a false statement.
Yeah, you know what? That's a sensation headline is what it is.
Yeah.
Smash, smash, smash.
The disappearance of bugs that fly, crawl, burrow, jump, and walk on water. They had to keep repeating
Which
that,
is all of them.
Is part of a gathering extinction event. The last one was 66 million years ago when a space rock wiped out land-based dinosaurs in most of their life forms.
We're at that level of extinction event now. Is that what we're doing?
This time we are to blame. Humanity's activity is responsible for almost all insect population declines and extinctions.
I have no doubt that we have absolutely decimated insect populations with glyphosate and similar things. There's no doubt about it. But
dude, insects are probably some of the most resilient freaking things on this planet, man.
Yeah, but you can
they
also
multiply rapidly. They freaking they run around in swarms and packs, so to speak,
dude,
or whatever.
poison rain is resilient too and very effective. I mean,
yeah,
that's not a natural thing.
Yeah, so that's what they do. They go on to say about pollutants and insecticides and all that stuff. So,
because that's not natural.
No,
insects are resilient when it comes to natural stuff. Yeah, they can survive like crazy stuff.
Well, yeah, you don't want them to eat a piece of corn or bite into a corn and die. You want them to not go to the corn or the strawberry or whatever the heck you're growing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So we hose them down with poison.
Well, we hose them down with poison and kill them and call it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we need to like put deterrents. Like some bugs don't like mint. Some bugs don't like hot peppers. You know.
Well, we're talking about industrial stuff here, like feeding the world type thing.
Yeah. Well, the world can feed itself. Give them a backyard.
I understand that.
You know what I mean?
The paradigm we're under is the mass corporate control and profit model, which comes along with, you know, the diabolical model of like just slash and burn policy, man. You know, it really is. It's evil. It's evil. Because everybody could feed themselves from their backyard, and the economy, the ecology, and all that would be honky dory under that model. But the difference would be that there wouldn't be a super powerful and wealthy ruling class. Then that's the difference, and that's why they don't want it to be that way. And they make sure that we're too retarded to do it.
Yep, too retarded for sure. I mean, look, we got a guy sitting next to us right now.
Who?
You.
Who?
Well, I got one for you, Chops. Since you're such a godly man and
You suck.
you can't even say GD around Chops, he gets all mad. So.
Yeah, that's not very nice.
The UN warns of a major shock as Africa locust outbreak spreads.
I am from
So
Africa.
it's the apocalypse, Chops. There's locust outbreaks happening in Africa.
Like I said before, if it's a sign from God or an apocalypse or something, everybody's going to know it immediately. It's not going to be it's building up because here come some bugs. Or I see a light in the sky or a cloud that says something. No.
Well, anyway, so swarms of billions of locusts have been destroying crops in Kenya, which hasn't seen such an outbreak in 70 years, as well as Somalia and Ethiopia, which haven't seen this in a quarter century. The insects have exploited favorable wet conditions.
So it's happened before, a quarter century ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
You know what I
remember
mean?
that? We Are the World. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
No, what?
That's from the last famine in Ethiopia.
We are the world.
Yeah, that.
We are the children.
Do you remember
we
that?
are the
Going.
ones who make a better place, so keep on living. Oh, we are the world.
Oh,
All
God.
right, no, we can't keep going, dude. Chops will keep singing for like an hour.
Yeah, that was everybody had that little 45 record, man. I think McDonald's was giving them away at one time.
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I think it's so.
We're going way, but you got to be Generation X for that.
Where
You're
everybody
probably
they was all holding hands on that video.
Yeah.
It was always on MTV.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's from when we were in about first grade, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to get a record at McDonald's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a quarter century ago. That was the last time there. Well, no, it was longer than that. It was like 35 years ago, but it's easy to say quarter century in an article. So anyway, that was a massive famine in Ethiopia. That whole record was released to raise money for that.
Yep.
You know, so now there's another one, a locust plague, slamming on that side of Africa. I
Hey,
am
man,
from
you
Well,
jacked-
Africa.
it said everywhere. Somalia, everywhere.
There's a piece of paper on the floor if that's the one you're looking for.
No, that's not it. I think
Oh.
I thought Beer did one. I thought you stole some of my notes.
No.
So, I mean, you tend to do things like that.
And
so,
hide them over
Them
here.
notes-
We're not talking
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
Them notes ain't steel worthy.
Well,
Oh.
so let's get into the cannabis thing, all right? I know Chops has been waiting for that. You know what you were talking about THC, right?
Every time I
You
talk
know, there's
about it.
and we know that there's a CBD craze going on right now too.
Yes, it's in every store.
Well, some guys that were doing some scientist stuff,
Uh-oh.
they found a new cannabinoid.
Good God, man! Don't blind me with science.
Anyway, it's THCP and CBDP. So they put a P on the end of it. So a group of Italian researchers led by this professor with an Italian name, I'm not even going to get into that part, but they discovered a new cannabinoid with it's 30 times more potent than THC. I'm having a fart here.
Hello.
Jeez, a little bit of gas today.
Face gas.
So they're saying it's 30 times more potent than oh my God, potent than THC. Chops, do you
Let's
understand?
talk about THC, guys.
I don't understand
We
what
got
you
something
said.
that's stronger than THC. It's THCP.
Fired up, son.
It's like a
Right.
38 special plus P. It's almost like a 357, but not really.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude.
Well, if
So
it's,
what's
if it's
it-
more potent, then what are they about to do? Make it in those like little pens, or is it going to be an edible? What is it? Is it smokable?
Wait a minute. Did they just
Just found the
they
compound.
found it where?
In
found
weed?
it. Like it hasn't always been there?
Right. That is it a new thing for
Or
weed?
did they just
No,
identify
They just
it?
identified it, I'm sure.
Okay.
Unless they are just lying. I don't know.
Right. So how can you get 30% more potent than
30
what-
times more
30
potent.
times more potent than what you already have?
So I think what you're saying is
Unless they-
what we've been calling THC this whole time. There's actually another compound in that is super potent part of it. Is that what you're saying? Kind of
Yeah.
Uh,
And they're calling it THCA.
Like
So
how-
what they're
THCP.
like how CBD's always
so what
been
they're
there.
saying is it's a compound that they can extract from that
Yeah,
and
apparently.
multiply.
We'll see. No, they're not going to extract. I mean,
They'll extract
yeah, they have
it
to
from
break it down
THC.
to this THCP. They have to break
Right.
it down to that or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably through post decarboxylation. Who knows? But here's the other side of it. Now, right now in the United States, industrial hemp is coming into play, and they have that 0.3
Yeah.
limit on THC in order to call it industrial hemp. So
You can load it with that other crap, though, 'cause
Right.
there's no red tape that says you
Right.
can't.
So now it's like, wow, all right, they're doing a total profile of your THC total, okay? So there's other compounds of THC. They bring those all together, they get their number, and that's got to be below 0.3. So if you add the THCP, this new one that they just found, it
Right.
might spike it even higher.
But that should already be in certain strains if it's just there and they discovered it, and I'm not quite sure how that works out. But, I mean, CBD's always been there, and they've just recently isolated that and discovered that the medical properties or chemical properties of CBD. You know what I mean? It was only in the 90s that they even knew that what all this stuff was.
Right. They were doing experiments and stuff. Pineapple Express. You ever seen that?
Yeah, well,
movie?
they're like, yeah, here we go. They're like, we had the opportunity to study the FM2 cannabis strain cultivated by the military pharmaceutical chemical plant in Florence. The military pharmaceutical chemical plant.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
It's illegal for you, but not for me.
Right.
Well, mind you,
We're
this
going to
is,
have industrial-sized places with marijuana.
well, mind you, this is in Italy, and THC is illegal. So there's that too.
It's illegal?
Yeah, they're not. They had to do it. It was a study based on the industrial hemp studies, and that's how they found it.
Yeah.
Because they're allowed to do it there for industrial hemp.
Yeah, I get it.
So
That's why I said that.
So what's it more potent for? Is it more potent for pain relief, or is it more potent for to get high on?
I have no idea. Well, I think that the word psychotropic came into play a couple times in there.
Okay,
So,
So
well,
it's trippy stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So get your THCP.
sweet.
Get your THCP.
And then they're going to label that as like it's a cocaine or something, and they're going to say, nope, you can't have it. Illegal.
Fired up, son.
Delta 9, no way, can't have it.
That whole tide is changing.
I
It's
don't
gonna
know.
be-
I think I think they're gonna multiply it, extract that, and make those pens out of it now.
Well, yeah,
Like
somebody's going.
Don't
to.
they
I
already
just-
do that?
Yeah, but it's like 92% THC. It's
What
not
a-
92% THCP.
I just think the war on drugs at large is going to be coming to a close. I think people are getting hip to just the whole lie and how it works, honestly. And the fact that marijuana is really pretty much inert. It really is.
I don't think all drugs should be legal.
Yeah, I have
Well,
that same opinion.
I'm just
Like
saying,
heroin
but the
should be
war on
illegal.
drugs
Yeah.
is totally the wrong approach. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying it hasn't worked for any drug, and it never will. People are getting hip to that.
Right.
Meth should be
The
illegal.
whole approach is wrong. You know what I mean? Making a problem worse is not a solution.
Crack
okay?
should be illegal.
But but the approach is different. And what do you do with somebody that's a crackhead then? Do you treat him like a criminal or like a patient?
I don't know.
What do you do
You
with-
see Tops's face when I said crack?
Was he upset that he can't
It
smoke crack
almost-
anymore because it's illegal
Maybe he's
now?
gassy or something, but it looked like he was upset.
I was about
You
to
mean
cry.
butt crack? You
That
mean butt
guy-
crack's illegal?
that you don't mean butt crack? My
Yeah.
butt crack always should be illegal.
Your butt crack should be
But,
illegal.
dude,
Yeah.
pretty soon the whole weed situation in so many states is already very lax at this point. It only took 50 years of, slow moving to get it to where it is now. It's going to keep going.
What'd you see, Ohio and the 200-gram thing up in Cleveland? They weren't going to, throw you in jail for it or anything.
200 grams.
Yeah, if you had 200 grams or below, you just get fined.
What's that, like 7 ounces or so, something like that?
200?
28 grams in an ounce. I'm not that good at basic
Yeah.
math. So, yeah, like a little between half pound, quarter pound, up to a half pound.
Yeah,
a
but
pretty
that's how
good
I mean
amount.
that's how they're gonna do it. They're like, oh well, it is illegal. We're just gonna fine you. They still can't just say it's legal.
Because it'll
Leave 'em
cause
alone.
if they keep the hammer down like it's 1985, there will be mass civil unrest. People aren't accepting it anymore.
Right.
Well,
You know?
one of the factors are
Zero tolerance.
you got boomers on their way out,
That's what I'm saying, though.
and you got us Xers
They
coming in.
can't bring that boot down on people for weed like they used to be able to, because people will not accept it. They will be like the police are a criminal death squad, and something has to be done. They have to back it up a little bit, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? America won't take it. I mean, we take a lot of bull, but when it comes to stuff like that, if the people at large and their general opinion, regardless of the law, is that it's relatively harmless and should not be, such a damnable offense, then if they treat it as such, there will be uproar. There will be.
Well,
You
there's
know?
still a lot of creepy Joe Biden wannabes around.
Sure.
So
There's still enough of them for it to be federally illegal, yeah.
I mean,
Dumbass fools like Jeff Sessions. That guy's a moron,
there's
man.
we will never legalize marijuana. It's devil's lettuce.
He's got to get that nursing home
The
vote.
devil's
dude.
lettuce. That's the first time I've ever heard that.
He's got to get that nursing home vote. Yeah, smoking a little bit of weed is the devil's lettuce, but drinking children's blood isn't bad at all, right?
Right.
Right.
Jeez, man.
And then you got Bloomberg, man. That guy, I swear to you, man, he's Satan, and I can see the horns coming
He's a
out of his head.
tyrant, man.
He's the one that always talks about global warming too.
Yeah.
And he's
He's like,
got
first thing I'm-
billions of dollars.
But yeah, first thing I'm gonna do is declare a national
Wait a minute.
emergency.
I'm going to blow his campaign apart right now.
Do it. Let's hear
He
it.
has $50 billion. $50 billion. That's $50,000 million. Why does he have to become president to do something about global warming?
Well, I could tell you this. I wonder how much money he spent into his advertising because it's blowing up our TVs like crazy.
Right? Yeah.
It's 100%
He could use
bull.
that same money to steer public opinion on global warming.
Right, and he has been doing that. He owns media companies and stuff, but $50 billion. Why does he need to become president to do something about global warming? Is that going to make him a good person
Well,
that's
I
going
just
to
had-
use his massive fortune for good?
I just had a globalist thought. Think about how much prime president he is for the globalists.
Of course.
Because he owns those media companies. He can broadcast and do crazy stuff and hit mass media just like that.
He's been doing it. That's how he got gun
but
control
imagine
in New
him,
York.
imagine him being a freaking president.
Right.
Oh
Yeah, I mean, the global warming thing,
G.
it's just to get votes from retards is pretty much what I was getting at. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact he's already rich and powerful enough to do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to become president to do something about global warming.
Yeah. Well,
You
what
know
a
what I mean?
freaking chicken neck, dude. I mean,
It's a load of shit.
he's
is
on
what it
there.
is.
He's on
It's
there, freaking,
It
kissing
is.
hands and shaking babies on TV.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Joe Biden's licking them.
Joe Biden's licking them.
He's licking hands and groping babies.
I mean, this is crazy. This is our political spectrum now.
Dude, my
dude.
parents are probably both going to vote for Biden, and they're probably going to send money to his campaign
Oh
on top of that.
no!
And then Trump's
Dude,
gonna
it's
end up just
boomers,
getting.
man.
Trump's gonna get reelected.
It's boomers, dude.
What do you think about Bernie? What's going to happen with him?
I don't know. I haven't been following any of this, and it's been nice because it's just such nonsense. But I don't know, man. Some of the stuff that Bernie talks about is it makes sense, and it can't really be denied. But it's the whole state mandate thing that gets me, and it's never going to work. In the high taxation bull, I'm not with it.
I
Never
think a
will
lot of
be.
his voters have started to back off from him because he's too
extreme.
too
man.
extreme socialist,
Yeah.
and he wants to put the Democratic
He's
label
too
on it.
authoritarian.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
always pointing his finger and getting all angry, like, this is what we got to do.
Well, his approach is authoritarian. That's what I was trying to say, pretty much. What he's trying to accomplish isn't a bad thing. It's the road that he's taken there. It's not going to work for me or anybody because it never has. But I don't know, man.
Well, meanwhile,
he'd have to destroy the military-industrial complex.
Industrial.
See, I'm
gonna get you when you get me,
And
dude. I had a
take,
fumble.
He'll have to dismantle the military-industrial complex before he can even and the obscene bribery from pharmaceutical companies and stuff. He would have to eliminate that before he could actually do any of the things he's talking about doing. It ain't happening, man.
Well, all you got to do to get Chops' vote is give him a pair of Duluth Trading underwear.
Hello.
You know, we spent a great deal of our drive down here talking about the merits of Duluth underwear.
I got to get me some of those, man.
Yeah.
You hear
guys
that,
really,
Duluth?
I'm getting
Send me a
some tonight.
check.
You guys keep saying, I keep hearing it, man. They're awesome underwear. I'm like,
I'm going to get me a couple of pairs tonight.
Dude, it's all I've worn for like a decade.
Yeah.
are they expensive?
He's got a decade-old
kinda,
underwear
but
on.
They're totally worth it, dude.
He just said he's got a decade-old underwear on.
That's not really what I said. But
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
want,
You said I've been wearing this pair of Duluth
it's
underwear
not-
for a decade.
it's not out of the realm of reality, so I'll let it go. I guess.
They're pretty tough. I mean, Duluth is a truff. Man, what is going on?
You know
today?
what, man? It's stuff that
Tough stuff they make there, right?
most of it is. I've had their stuff fail on me before, but when it doesn't fail, it's the best.
I wonder what it takes to have no failure with Chops' butt crack and what happens in there.
Well, I don't know if you saw for the first part of the
Kevlar.
show, but he had
He
his.
needs Kevlar
I know
underwear.
he's sitting right in front of you on that couch, but I'm at a different angle, and you probably couldn't tell that his pants were down and his bare butt was on the couch cushion
Oh,
the
great.
whole first half of the show, and I don't think you even knew about
Oh,
it.
wow.
I could see the side of his butt the whole time.
Thanks, man. Now somebody's going to lay their head
They
there.
really weren't. No, he's imagining that.
What if somebody wants to take a break or something and they're laying there and Chops' butt sweat
You know
all
what?
over
I've
it?
slept on that
They're
couch
gonna
a
get
lot
pink
of times,
eye.
too.
Wow, working hard over there, huh?
Jesus.
So he needs Kevlar underwear.
Yeah.
When
Dude,
did
they're
we
the
get into-
best. They are.
And he needs a man pon, or no, we called it something else. What
A
was
man
it?
pond. That's what it is.
No.
Yeah. What was it?
I can't
You're
remember.
talking about the poop napkin?
Poop napkin, yeah. Dude, you don't wipe properly, or what's going on?
Will you check it out for me? I
No,
do.
I don't want to check it out. but
You know, a
Just
lot
check
of
it
great
out.
leaders throughout history have had hemorrhoid problems. He's got piles. Choppy has piles.
I do
they
not
call it.
have no daggone hemorrhoids.
He
What are
can't
you guys talking about my butt and my junk for all?
because it's on
last
the
5
couch.
minutes. It is not.
Wait, dude.
It's awful. You can't have like a serious conversation because he'll have like his butt hanging out.
I
or
know.
something,
That's
or-
what I was saying earlier.
All right,
Dude,
that's it.
Napoleon couldn't get on his horse to check out what was going on over the field at Waterloo because his hemorrhoids are so bad that he could not sit on the saddle.
Who?
Napoleon, when he lost at Waterloo. And
So
he got,
he had bad hemorrhoids.
oh, yeah. He was a military genius, and he couldn't even sit on his saddle. It was
But
like,
I don't
okay.
think you don't have hemorrhoids, do you, Chops?
No, I don't. Do you want me to show you?
I know you probably got some other.
I don't know if
situations.
Chop's got hemorrhoids. I know he's got poop napkins, and I know he has his pants down. That's what I know. That's all I know.
My poop napkin's your beard.
Dude, you're the one that came up with poop napkin.
I know, for your beard.
There might be a little
Awful.
poop in my
Oh.
beard.
You know, he always got to do his courtesy wipes all the time or whatever he's doing. But he probably got a chapped ass.
Courtesy flush.
A
Courtesy flush.
Yeah, but that's a courtesy wipe, I guess, so it doesn't come stinking up through your butt crack to other people.
Well, you need all that. Need all that.
Awful, dude. I
Oh,
mean, this is what we
Lord.
got to deal with here at the Bob and Bob Show. You know, Chops with his butt hanging out.
LB has to stand up to poop.
Oh,
He
Lord.
sits on the toilet and his feet swing.
Now I get
No-
it.
I always got to look for the short stall when I go into the pisser. Or on my tippy toes on the normal guy stuff.
The training potty.
Yeah, I'll still kick you right in them goat balls you got there, though. Oh, wow. So, Chops, why don't you close us out? I think we got like 2 minutes left.
Chops has been playing with his balls for like 5 minutes straight now.
No, I have not.
Yeah, look.
Look, both my hands have something in it.
Yeah,
so
but
how
you
would-
had your lighter in your hand, and you were playing with your balls with your lighter hand.
Wow, you're really like paying
Right.
attention to him.
Well, he's right in front of me.
I mean,
No, I'm not in front of you.
Yeah,
Let's
you are.
check the cameras.
You're at like
let's check
11
the
o'clock.
cameras.
I am at 11 o'clock. That's not right in front of you.
It's pretty close.
Wow.
Technicalities.
Oh,
Technicalities.
man.
But yeah, you can always check us out.
End of the show.
End of the show. Throw it in the toilet.
It's coming up.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, we'd like to thank you guys for listening, and we're gonna try to keep getting shows out whenever we can. We're pretty busy guys nowadays, but
Sorry, Bearded Bob couldn't keep his head out of my pants this whole show.
Every 2 or 3 weeks here.
yeah, hopefully things will work out. Don't you think? If Chops can get his stuff together, you know.
That's right.
Man, come on, man.
What do you
Dude,
mean,
this
come
was the
on?
longest drive
Perfect timing.
ever today.
Yeah, we did a good job. So you guys, we'll see you
Later.
next week.
See you next time.
Check out the
Love you.
websites. Listen to all the stuff.
Podbean. Commercials.
Hello.
Download.
Goodbye,
Download.
goodbye,
Download.